Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be doing the handover on the Elddis Encore 255 2020. So on the driver's side of the vehicle, you've got your LPG, liquid petroleum gas, so this is where your gas bottle lives in your gas locker. So this opens with the tri-mark key, so you'll get one flat key with tri-mark and you'll get one flip key with tri-mark. So this will do all your lockers and then they just push to open. And in here you can fit two 6 kilogram gas bottles, so you tie them in, stand them in the holders, tie them in. If you get the pigtail onto the bottle, you will need an adjustable spanner or gas spanner. The left hand thread and nip up, and then as soon as you open the bottle, if you just press this green button, it allows the gas through the crash valve and up into the pigtail, and you've got one here. So should you ever be failing to get gas on board, if you just press this yellow one as well, make sure that's pushed in, you'll hear it squirts gas through into the van. Always travel with them turned off and make sure they are securely strapped in. And then to hook the vehicle up, you get your 25-metre hooker blade. This is your hooker point. You lift the collar and you slide the hooker blade on like so. Always hook the vehicle up first and then the point, as we wouldn't want you walking on with a damaged lead or in the wet, you wouldn't want to get an electric shock. Further back you've got your toilets here. This is your cassette. So to empty your cassette, if you lift this handle up, the orange Fetford handle, you'll then be able to slide the cassette out. You've got telescopic arm there so you can wheel it round instead of carrying it once it's full. And then to empty, if you just take your brake cap off the end of your cassette toilet, this also doubles up as the measuring stick, so when you are ready to put the chemical back into the cassette, you can fill this with water and pour it in. But to empty, you've got a button here. This allows air in, stops it glugging and allows it to flow consistently. If you just press and tip, and then you can put some water in, give it a slosh around, break it up again and tip again. And then if you're using the chemical, a cap full of chemical into here, and then you can push it back in the van. If you're using the tablet form, which are in a sachet, put a pint of water in here and drop a sachet straight down the toilet, and that'll break up to the liquid as well. The only reason you wouldn't be able to get the cassette out the exterior of the vehicle is if the blade on the bottom of the toilet is in the open position. It must be closed to get the cassette out, and I will show you that once we are on board. And in here you've got your fresh water intake, so this is where you put your fresh water hose. So you've got a small key here, and this locks this flap. Put a hose pipe in there in between the groove and fill it until it overflows, or fill it until you know you've got enough water on board. And you can look at the control panel and it'll tell you and go up in increments of how much is on board. If you are wild camping, you will have to take a full tank of water with you. If you are going to a site, take a maximum of 20 litres just to keep the weight down and give you a better payload. And then when you are ready to go off site and you've got a full tank of water, or you want to drain it down when you're not using it, and especially in the winter you'll want to drain it down, this is your fresh water drain tap. So you filled it up here, you've got a holding tank underneath, and then if you just open it, this is just fresh water to drain it down. So you just open that and allow all the water to drain out the vehicle. Normally on a site you drive over a grid on the way out of a site and dump your fresh and your waste water. So this is your fresh, your waste will be on the other side, which I'll show you. On the back of the vehicle you do have your high level brake light, your reverse camera, your bars here for if you wanted a bike rack fitted. This is where the body back panel has been strengthened for your bike rack. And you do have your Aldi flue, so just to make sure that is obstruction free. And then coming round you've got your external TV point, so you've got a satellite point, you've got a TV point, and you've got a 12 volt point for your TV to be put in your own. You'll only have a satellite if a satellite has been fitted to this vehicle. As standard they don't come with them. And then on this one you've got an external 240 volt socket for power into your awning. And then this is underneath the bed, So if you lift this up, this is where your leisure battery lives, which is 75 amp, which is 95 amp, sorry. You've got your, this customer's fitted an alarm, so it's just a generic handover video, but this customer has opted a Cat 1 alarm, and these are your contacts for your locker doors. You've got your awning, winding handle, your pegs for your feet, your rafter bar, your carpet and your carb mat, and then that is the space underneath the bed. Your boiler's in there, which I'll show you from inside. You've got your external gas point here, so you've got a gas hose and a gas point there, so this spigot would go onto there. You'd get some Jubilee clip and some gas hose in, and then you would be connected to your barbecue or Kadak and just turn on and off here, and it'll run off the main gas bottles on board. And then same as your fresh, but this is your waste, so grey dirty water. You can turn it on and off, and same again, you drive over a grid, so anything you put down a plug hole would go into a holding tank, and in the winter you'd want to drain it off. And if you have the vehicle for standing, don't leave any water in. So even if it's for a couple of months in the summer, just drain it down, and that would be where you'd let all your dirty water, soapy, foody water from in there. Your habitation door is on the central locking, so you'd open at the top and it would open this door, and you'd lock at the bottom and lock the carb and this door. But if you manually wanted to open this door, you can do, like so. But you must open with the key, because this vehicle has been fitted with an alarm, so you must turn the alarm off first before you go in there, so you very rarely use that key. Coming down, so the passenger door, you've got your diesel, which opens with the main ignition key, and then below you've got your AdBlue. So your AdBlue is a exhaust, emissions, fluid, and all that does is, with it being a Euro 6 compliant engine, it'll come up on the dash once it needs AdBlue. Just simply top it up. You get it at most filling stations now, as it's a common thing on most Euro 6 diesel engines. If you do let it go down, it'll give you a mileage countdown. The vehicle may go into limp mode or may fail to start because of the lack of AdBlue in the system. Here on the slam panel you have your tyre pressure, so 5.5 bar front and back, which is 79.5 psi all round. Below your passenger seat is where you'll find your tool kit, and this has got a jackknip bracing, a tow eye and a screwdriver, so anything you need to be towed away in an emergency or breakdown, and anything you need to change your wheel. Your wheel is then underslung underneath the back of the van. And underneath this panel here, with it being part of Fiat, and it's been on a Fiat chassis, your engine battery lives underneath here, so you just loosen these off with a screwdriver, and you can lift this panel off to get access to the battery should you ever need to change it or charge it. You can put a charger on the top of the battery from in here. But if you wanted to give it a jump start, as it may be flat over the winter time, your bonnet release is here, and you could open your bonnet, and then to give a jump start you'd put your black lead, which is your earth, on there, and then if you put your key or your screwdriver into here and just lift this cover up, you've got your red clip on there, which is your positive for giving or receiving a jump start. You've got your weight plate here, so forget about this one, go off this one. This is the second conversion weight plate, so it's 3.5 ton. If you will put a tow bar on and tow anything, you can tow an extra 2 ton behind you. You've got your front and back axle weights, and you've got your SG number, which is your unique build number to this vehicle. This is your switch for your bonnet for your alarm. You've got your paint code for the white. This cover lifts off and gives you access to your radiator fluid and power steering fluid. You've got your brake fluid here, and in the corner is the main one you're going to need, which is your screen wash fluid. You've got your oil filler here and dipstick down there for checking your levels before you go on every trip, and that is underneath your bonnet. Operate your Fiamma awning, so get your handle from underneath your bed, hook it on here and wind it out until you can reach inside of the canopy. without so. And then you've got two legs either side, so if you grab the top and the bottom and simply prise it out towards you, slide it down, loosen this off, and this operates your telescopic leg for your height. So you've got two of them, so get your legs down as soon as possible, as it bears the weight better on the awning main structure. And then you can wind and walk the awning out until your desired length. You can use the pegs to put through the feet to peg them out, and then on the front you do have a C-rail, so if you wanted a drive away awning it would just connect over here, and your rafter bar, which is your other bar underneath the bed, you clip on here and clip on there, and it just gives it an extra strength. But always make sure once you've took the awning out, you take it back ever so slightly so the canvas is always tensioned, as if it's too loose and it was to rain, the water would pool in the middle and you'd get a big saggy spot here. And awnings and wind don't mix at all, so if it's going to be windy or you're going out, take the awning in, never put the awning out in the wind, as this will just go straight over the van and smash the other end of your van up and cause a lot of damage. So now on board, beside your habitation door, you've got your main 12 volt control panel and you've got your Elddis heating and hot water panel. So I'll start off with your main panel. So you've got a master switch here. This will either turn your power on. So if you are hooked up, which will indicate like so, it'll give you main 240 volt. If not, you will just get 12 volt off your leisure battery. You've got your pump here, so you need to turn the pump on, which will then send the water and prime the tap. So you must have this on when you use any tap, any toilet, any shower, otherwise you'll just get whatever's left in the lines and then it will simply drain away. You've got your lights. This is your master switch for your lights, and then they all are individually switched around the vehicle. And then you've got awning, and awning means that there's just a light above the door here, so should you be sitting in the awning on a night and you want the light on, you can do. Then you've got two scroll buttons here, so if you scroll through, it tells you your water level. So you've got 91% of fresh water on board, you've got 0 waste. Yeah, your battery, as always, your leisure, that should be active. Your leisure battery reading is 14.3 volts. And then you can go back through like so, and then you can change this. So if you go into here, you can press enter and you can change the time and date and various settings like so. And then above you do have your Elddis control panel, so if you press the on button, wait for the green light and wait for it to do its cycle until you get to the main menu. So if you click menu, so the thermometer in the house is how hot you want the vehicle. You can have it all the way to 30 or all the way to off. And then below you've got your water, so you've got heating your water at 60 degrees or off like that. Below you've got the electricity mark. This is heating your van or water off electric. So this is using the electric side to heat the water or the vehicle. And you've either got on 1 kilowatt or 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts. Normally abroad or on smaller sales sites you may have to use 1, and you can use 2 and 3 on most UK caravan and camping club sites. Should you not be hooked up, so you've got no access to mains power, you'd have to heat the water off gas. So if you press this little gas icon, it'll go green, and then should there be gas on board, you'll be able to heat your water and your van off the gas. In the winter, when it's really cold or you want hot water quicker, you can put the gas and 2 kilowatts of electric on together. This will boost your time for heating the hot water or the van and down to about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and then you can then turn the gas off and allow the electric to carry and continue heating the water or the vehicle. If you did want to prioritize one or the other, so if it was hot water you were wanting, don't put the heating on and it would heat up far quicker. Or if it was the van you wanted heating, don't put the hot water on until the van's at a temperature where you would want to switch the heating on. And then if you press the spanner here, you can then set timers and nighttime settings and so on, but that's all explained in your handbooks. I'll just keep it fairly simple so you can use the heating and hot water. And then to turn off, you just press and hold. So to work the roof light in the kitchen area, if you grab the bar, pull down and slide, it slides on itself. So slide it along, but always make sure that when you're travelling that these two tabs are into the other tabs on the plastic roof light, and that all your roof lights and windows are closed, and then you have got a blackout blind and a fly screen for when in use. To operate your Dometic fridge with freezer, so if you've got a button here, and this turns it on and off. It's then got an automatic energy selection. So what this does is it selects the best source available. So say we're on hookup, it's already gone to hookup. If the hookup was to be taken out, it would go to gas. If the engine was to be started, it would go to the battery. And the battery setting, some people think this is using the leisure battery. It's not. Your leisure battery is incapable of cooling the fridge down. This is off your engine battery when the engine is running. And what this does is the battery setting, so if I was to put it on now, it would fail because we are stationary. The battery only keeps the same temperature of the fridge and freezer when it was what it was at when departing. So the idea here is that you cool your fridge on either gas or electric before you depart. So say you're lucky enough to keep this at home, or your storage yard does have electric, hook the vehicle up the day before, fill it with your shopping, go to sleep, and then when you do come to reuse the van and set off, if it's on automatic, it'll automatically go to battery. If not, manually put onto battery, and then it will keep the temperature the same. It won't make it cooler, it won't make it hotter, but it will keep it the same until you arrive at your destination, no matter how long you travel. And then if you were not hooked up, then obviously you're not going to leave the engine running all the time. You would put onto gas, and then you put onto gas, it self-ignites, and then it will be lit on gas. This is your temperature here, but again, if you had it on automatic, it would automatically go to gas if there was no hookup. And then you've got a reset button, so should the fridge have failed, you can press it and see if it'll ignite again. So one part of winterizing the vehicle, or if you are leaving the vehicle for any length of time where you can't go away, you want to clean your fridge out. You want to leave nothing in, because if you leave things in, you'll start getting smells, mold, moist, bacteria growing in the fridge. So once you've cleaned it out, the last thing you want to do is shut the door, because if you shut the door, you're trapping all that fresh air into the fridge, which is going to become mold and smelly and moist air. So what you need to do is, if you press here and slide it forward, these two catches then stop the fridge door from closing on itself completely and allow air ventilation in and out the fridge. Above the fridge you do have your TV aerial, so you loosen this off and you push it up to find a better TV signal, should you be struggling to find one. But when travelling, always make sure it's pulled in, the aerial is in line with the roof, it's not hanging over the side, and that it's tightened securely. And then on here you've got a TV booster, so you can boost the signal or weaken the signal should it be too strong. And then this customer's also had a dual charging solar panel fitted to this vehicle, which they don't come standard with. So it's telling you there it's doing 50-50 of charging your batteries, and this is just your display meter. And then it's showing 1 and 2. Battery 1's your engine, battery 2's your leisure. If you press here, it'll display a number and it'll change the way that this charges. So it'll go from 50/50 to 70/30, and you'll be able to change it like so. But this is all explained in your handbooks. And below your fridge, you've got your trip switches when on 240 electric for your various items and your main trip switches. So these are all your MCBs and your trip tester. And then below you've got all your 12-volt fuses. So it would be a good idea to go and buy some spare blade fuses, or just standard blade fuses, and carry them with you, because if one of these blows a fuse, you can just simply pick it out and put a new one in and see if it blows the fuse again. Then that'll indicate you've got a more serious problem. If not, then you're not ruining your holiday. And then this switch here is your tank heater. So if it's going to be a cold night in the winter, you can put this on, and this will put current through the water, stop the water freezing in your holding tanks which are underslung on the chassis. You've got a gas tap for your fridge here, and then the other gas taps will be located. There'll be one underneath your cooker, and there'll be one underneath your bed. So in your kitchen, so on your hob, you've got 3 gas rings, 1 electric hot plate here. So just make sure you haven't knocked this one, because there's no light to indicate that it's on. Just make sure it hasn't been knocked, and you hook up and you forget that it's been knocked, because it will shatter the glass with the heat. But that's only on 240 mains hookup. And then below you've got your grill, and then you've got your oven, which has got your grill pan and your oven shelves in there. So make sure that when you're travelling, you've either wrapped the shelves up and grill pan, or you've taken them out, because this is where you can get your most rattles from. And then below, like I've said, is where the gas tap is for the oven, and you've got a plug for the electric hot plate. Just should that be failing, you can manually unplug it to stop any problems occurring. You've got storage in here, and then to open all the drawers, if you just push this catch up, so all them up, don't just drive the drawer open, because it'll break the catch. You've got cutlery, and you've got another drawer, so you can move that to the top one should you want. And then if you press this is below your sink. So your microwave is a mains 240 microwave, so it's a household microwave. So this will only work when you're hooked up. The plug is up here, so you can isolate the microwave should it be faulty or should it need to be repaired. And then the microwave just lifts out, so should you need to buy a new one or get another one under warranty, you can. And then this cupboard, once you've opened it, don't just try and close it on itself, because it won't. You've got to lift it up till now, then let it shut. So this is inside your wardrobe. The main thing you've got in here is your Aldi expansion tank. So minimum's down here and maximum's up there. So when it's on, it'll always read more than when it's off. So when it's off, it'll probably read very close to minimum. Some people might top it up, but I wouldn't bother, because if you top it up when it's at minimum and it's off, 10 times out of 10 you're going to be topping it up too full, and it's going to be above maximum when it's on. So always put it on first to check your levels, and then you can see if top up. And at top up, you take this off, there's a nut in there, and then you can fill. So fill it with Aldi antifreeze, which you can get from us or any other caravan shop, or you can buy offline. You've got your hanging rail, you've got a small sample of the blue chemical. In this here, these are covers for your folding down seats, so they can go over the top should you not be using them and want to protect them from when you're storing other bits and pieces in there. You've got your infills for your front bed, and you do have your main 25-meter hookup cable, which is brand new, as this is a brand new. In your bathroom, to operate your toilet, so if you make sure the pump's on, you'll be able to press this blue button, and this will flush. So this will give flush into the bowl, and then the bowl can be turned to get a comfier position on the toilet. And then this is your blade, so to open the blade, if you slide it to the right, it'll open the blade and allow it into the cassette. If this is open like so, you'll not be able to get the cassette out of the exterior of the vehicle. It must be shut to get the cassette out. It'll indicate red once the cassette needs to be taken out and replenished with chemical. Above you do have toiletry cabinet, and above this, below the sink you do as well. This small sponge here is a special sponge to clean your shower tray out, as it's made of a special material, and you just need to use water on it, so use no harsh chemicals, as this will actually void your warranty, and it'll actually strip the paint off the shower itself. Same fly screen, blackout blind and skylight is in the kitchen, so pull your weight down on it, slide along like so, and then you've got a blackout and fly screen on there. And then your sink plug just pushes and part, and you've got a turnbuckle here, so when you're travelling, to keep your shower screen open and stop them clattering about, but then you can just turn that off and on to make this work. Also, what I'd recommend when you've winterized the vehicle, so you've opened the fresh, you've opened the waste, you've opened the boiler, leave all your taps open in the middle position of the mixer tap, take your shower head off, allow this hose to lie in this shower tray. As you can see there, it's got bends in, and you don't want any water sitting in here and freezing, because basically you'll have to repair that, and you'll have to repair any other water that's been left in the vehicle. So drain the whole vehicle down and leave all the taps open to stop any airlocks from occurring. So this is how to get your seat up. So this is your seat in situ when travelling. It's got Isofix on there, so should you need car seats or anything, you can mount onto there and drop it down. So if you lift this up, so you can see here, this goes into there to make the base of the seat work. You'd fold it down and fold that into the bottom of the under the seat. This lever here folds the whole backrest down, and then this one does the backrest and the headrest, so you can slide that down, and then that is stored back away. And so once you want to get the travelling seat up, you've lifted the seat up, which is on a gas strut. You've got to then push these two chrome catches. So lift it up a little bit further, push them, slide, and just make sure it's pushed into position, and then you could then lift your seat back up and lift your base also up, and there you've got your travelling seat for travelling. So underneath your bed, this is your Aldi boiler. So this holds 10 litres of water at any one time. In the winter, or when you're not using it, it's good, especially in the winter, you'll want to drain it down. But to get into good practice when you're not using it, what we'd recommend is that you don't leave any water on board. And to drain this down, this yellow winter toggle is your drain down tap. So if you just lift it up, it'll drain off like so. You'll hear the pump kicking in because I've got the pump turned on, but don't put the pump on, and just lift this up so it stands on end, and that'll drain all the 10 litres of water directly underneath the chassis. When you do come to reuse the van, put it down into the position it is now, fill it up with water, come in, put the pump on, go to the cold side of the tap first. You'll automatically get cold water, go to the hot. It'll cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises, and what that's doing is it's drawing the cold water from the underslung chassis tank into the boiler, priming the boiler until it reaches the maximum 10 litres on board the boiler. It'll then push it through the taps. Once you get a steady flow on one tap, do them all, and then the system is primed for the winter. But always make sure it is drained down in the winter, as it isn't covered under warranty, as it's your responsibility to drain the vehicle down. And this is how you do it, by using this yellow winter toggle. And to open this skylight, so this skylight is the same above the bed. You've got a button here that you press in, and then you pull the bar down. You can push it all the way along to have it open fully, or you can have it into the grooves should it be a lovely day and you want a bit of ventilation. Always make sure when travelling the button is out and the bar's above it. And then you do have a fly screen and a blackout blind. And then this skylight above the cab is you just wind to open. Always make sure it is shut. With it being over the car, people think you can use it when driving, you can't. Blackout blind and fly screen. And to make the bed, if you lift up and slide out, meet in the middle, so slide the lats out, and then if you use your backrests, put them into the middle. But what I'd advise is you turn them upside down, because you get a flatter surface. And then what you'd do is you'd use the infill cushions that are in the wardrobe to fill this space in here. So the narrow infill cushions just to fill the space that's the gap, and turn the other two base cushions upside down, and it's far more comfortable to sleep. You can fit a fitted sheet onto there and you'll have a better night's sleep on the backs of the cushions than you will sleeping on the bull nose, because you'll get all the ridges and bumps of the cushions on your backs. So in your cab, to black your cab windows out, so this is your driver's window, you'll have the same on the passenger window. If you just pinch these together and allow the bottom to slide down, and then to black the windscreen out, you just pinch and shut like so. That's how you'd black the cab main windows out. So side windows and windscreen, you'll have the same this side, like so. And then in the cab, your handbrake's down to your right. Even though this is an automatic, still use the handbrake. You've got your electric window adjustments. You've got your electric mirror adjustments, which is the top and the blind spot. You've got your fog lights, your headlight adjustment, and this is fitted with stop start. So with it being an automatic, if you put your foot on the brake at the traffic lights or when you've stopped in traffic and hold the brake in, the engine will cut out until you release the brake and the engine will start back up. But if you didn't want that function, you can click here and stop it from happening. It'll only do that should there be sufficient charge in the engine battery. So if it's been stood for a while, you might think, why is my stop start not working? There's your answer, because your battery isn't up to full charge. Here is your alarm indicator. So you've got ultrasonics on here with us fitting the Cat 1 Vodafone alarm. So to turn these off, should you have a dog or you want to arm it with yourselves in, you turn the ignition on, turn the ignition off, and within 6 seconds, press and hold, you'll see it flash, and it'll flash until it stops flashing, and then the ultrasonics have turned off, and then you can lock the van, it'll arm the perimeter, but the interior will be unarmed, so you can move around without the alarm going off. You've got your wipers with your trip computer on the side, which will tell you the instant miles per gallon, your average, your range, your travelling times, and so on. You've got your hands free here, and this will scroll through either your radio channels or your contacts, depending on what setting you've put them on. You've got your mute, your volume, and your voice command. You've got cruise control off and speed limit at the bottom, and a cancel resume. So say you've had your cruise control set to 70 mile an hour or 60, and you've had to brake off because of the limits changed, or there's been roadworks, or someone's tried to cut you up. You can press this and it'll resume back to what it was at. You've got your lights and your indicators. With this being an automatic, you've got park with it being the new 9-speed. So you've got this button here which is called drive mode. So if you look here above P, a little menu will come up. So you've got P, WR, and that's power. So that'll hold the gears longer. You've got eco, which is obviously better on the fuel, or you've got normal. But with an automatic, if it's in normal and you put your foot down, it'll drop a gear and it'll automatically give you the power you want. And then when you do change to reverse, start the engine up and park first, and then change to reverse. On here, sorry, you'll get your reverse camera. You can also use this in drive when going forward as a rear view camera. If you didn't want that function, you can just turn it off here. You've got ASR, which is another word for turning the traction control off. So if you're sliding on wet grass or struggling to find traction, you can turn that off so the system doesn't intervene. You've got your hazard light. This locks all 3 doors, so habitation door on the motorhome, cab doors, and you've got your heated mirrors. You've got a USB for charging, a 12 volt for charging. But the USB for streaming into the head unit is located in the glove bin below, which is lockable, which is here. And on the head unit, you've got radio, so you can press 1, 2, you can save 3 here, or you can press and save 12, so DAB, FM or AM, so you can choose your source. You've got media, which will either be a USB stick or your Bluetooth audio. You've got navigation, which is just TomTom. So once this is all set up, you can ask where it wants to go, you can program it in. It will ask you to set your home address up. I wouldn't do that, solely because if somebody steals your motorhome, they know where you live. I wouldn't do that. I'd put it, you could put it to the street, or you could put it to the street before or the street after, so you can get yourself home with a sat nav, but it's not to your house. So it says set up home address, so you just, but you can do that if you want to. You don't have to set that up. So it's just loading all your maps in there now. So I'll just set it to here for the sake of showing you. So we'll set it to NE16 6 NS, which is us, Tyne Valley Motorhomes. And then you can go navigate to, so if you press home, it'll automatically come to Tyne Valley Motorhomes, or you can press address and you can put your postcode in there and it'll find the road you want. You can press phone and you can press pair in a phone, so there's no phone connected at the minute. You find a new connect on your device, making sure the pins match, press pair, and then we'll ask you if you want to sync your contacts. Just press yes, and then whoever rings you'll come up on here. And then if you go to more, you've got your trips, which you can watch in here, instead of pressing on the wiper stalk. Or you can have a clock or a compass once it finds the location. You've also got this, customers also opted to fit a S5 tracking device to the vehicle. So these are what's known as driver's cards. So whenever you drive the vehicle, one of these must be with the driver. If not, the tracking system will assume it's been stolen and will ring you and ask you if you are in the vehicle or not. So what I did, they have got a hoop on to put them onto the keys. I wouldn't even bother putting them onto the keys, because if someone steals your keys, they've got this and it won't alert you, and the tracking system won't be alerted that the vehicle has been stolen. So what I did say is put one of these in your wallet or put one of these in your purse, and then you can have them on you. Have one of these on you when you drive the vehicle, but don't put them on your keys. Work your heating on the cab. So you've got your temperature here, Your fan speed, it must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work. You've got your distribution, and you've got your circulation, either bringing fresh air in or recirculating air within the vehicle. This then heats and cools this box here, so this is a great place if it's on air conditioned for sweets, chocolate, to stop you getting up to the fridge when you're traveling. You can have it in here. And also these are, so you only need these, so I'd put one on your main set of keys, but you definitely need them for this. Well, you don't, because with the Encores you get a second central locking key, but on most vehicles your second key is just a blade key. But you've got a arm and disarm. I would put them on both sets of keys solely because if the battery dies in your main keys, it will then have to use this to turn the alarm off. You won't need to use these all the time because the key is programmed. When you press lock, it sets the alarm. When you press unlock, it unarms the alarm. But should the batteries be flat, you would have to use this, otherwise your alarm would be going off all the time.
Amen.
Thank you for choosing Tyne Valley Motorhomes to purchase your new motorhome. Should you have any questions once you've watched the video, don't hesitate to contact 01207 272 777. Or if you like the look of this vehicle and you want more specification, you can email sales@tynevalleymotorhomes.co.uk, or of course you can ring us on 01207 272 777.